What's going on, guys? Shane here with former WBO champion Chris Algieri.
What's up, guys?
Today, Chris is going to be showing you how to fight a taller opponent, so we're going to be covering a couple different strategies. Let's give it a try.
So, something that you often see with a taller guy versus a shorter guy is that the shorter guy is not as active from the outside. I pose that a good tactic for a shorter man is to really be busy with his front hand and actually jab the lead hand of the taller fighter. This keeps my front hand busy, as well as putting a little bit of pressure and weight onto my back foot. Okay, as Shane strikes my forward hand, it's going to cause me to shift my weight just slightly. So as he jabs that hand, I have a little bit of shift on my back foot. I have to drive off that back foot now in order to counter and go over the top, giving Shane just a little bit more time to make an adjustment or to counter. So Shane is busy with that front hand on the outside. It's keeping my lead hand busy. A lot of times you'll see a guy now, okay, he's got a busy front hand, so I'm going to counter with my rear. But at the same time, I'm pushing off my back foot for that. Shane has a little bit extra time. He can get out of the way. And now I'm overextended, comes back with his counter check hook. Range is extremely important. So if Shane and I are both holding our left jab out, so if you hold your jab out here, I'm able to touch him before he can touch me. This is a great advantage when you're talking about fighting at distance. So I'm able to hit Shane before he's able to hit me, which gives me a tremendous advantage to be able to hit him, change distance, cut angles, hit again. Also, to stand a higher ground. It's almost like being on top of a hill and fighting someone going uphill, which is always more difficult. So what Shane needs to do is get past that first jab. So using lateral side-to-side head movement, like slipping, is going to be really important, because that's great because he'll then get past my jab. So if I throw this left jab and he slips past my punch, he's now moved in closer, he's changed range. Now my weapon, which is my fist, is behind him. I've got to get this back to now in order to defend or to strike. So Shane has opportunities here to counter under and over, under the top. Okay? So once he's get past my weapon, which is actually my knuckles or my fist, he's at an advantage now. Having shorter arms means that you're going to be able to generate more power in a closer range. So once he's inside, he's in a better position. It's not always better to be taller. It's not always better to be shorter. There's certain places that we can fight that one attribute will help more than another. Hey guys, we're going to talk a little bit about different ranges when it comes to a shorter opponent versus a taller opponent. So we've got a line here. This is going to represent the critical distance line. This is the point that once me and Shane step to, we're actually able to strike each other. Okay? Beyond that range, we're not in a striking zone. We're going to have to actually overtake that critical distance line in order to get to a position where we can both strike each other. So it's really important that you think about every fight is going to start from opposite ends of the corner. There's going to be distance first. So the advantage is going to lie in the taller man first. So getting to the point where Shane can get to this critical distance line to be able to strike me is extremely important. Little caveat, we're going to have different critical distance lines because we have a different range. So I can be further away from Shane and touch him before he can actually touch me. So his critical distance line is going to be a few inches closer to me than mine to you. So it's going to be really important for Shane to actually be active outside of the striking zone to get the taller man to overcommit, overreach, or step out of that safe zone of outside that critical distance line to look for that strike. The advantage of a shorter man in that position is his reach is less, so his ability to get back to striking is shorter. Okay, he's got shorter power, shorter punches, and the distance between two places, if it's shorter, is going to get there first. So what Shane's going to try and do on the outside here is he's going to be actively moving his upper body, like we spoke about before, and he's going to be using his lead hand to keep my lead hand busy. So he can just go out there and jab that front hand, keep that active, make me not realize exactly where his distance is. Now he's gotten to the critical distance line without me knowing it, by using active head movement, so I have a moving target, while also keeping my front hand, my lead hand, which is my range, busy. So now I'm dealing with this, gives him the opportunity to step into that line and then come over the top. Bang. Covering some distance, getting to that critical distance line, and scoring that punch. Two pitfalls that I see a lot of times, oftentimes with shorter guys fighting taller guys, is they abandon their jab. That would be number one. So a lot of times, again, if Shane has his jab out and I have my jab out, I'm able to hit him before he's able to hit me. So this guy has the idea that if I can't beat him to the jab anyway, I'm not going to use it. I need to get inside and use my power punches. And a lot of times what happens in fights like that, you get a taller man who wants to keep distance against a guy who's going to be working very hard to get in, but not throwing any punches, and generally just getting outworked from the outside. Changing range, you see this quite a bit, like why isn't this guy throwing more punches? He's abandoning his jab to close that distance, to cover that critical distance line, to get to the point where he can actually strike. So it's really important for Shane, as he's actually moving that head movement, which is great, he's not getting hit, he's slipping these punches over and over again, is to actually jab with the taller man. So as Shane slips to the outside of my left jab, he can drop his own shorter jab from a straight line right to my chin. So he drops his head, boom. As I'm stepping in to throw my jab, I'm now closing that distance, allowing Shane to be in a position where he can actually hit me. His head's offline, I overreach, step into a hard counter jab. Bang. And again. Bang. And again. Bang. All right, guys, another great weapon for a shorter fighter versus a taller fighter. I'm picking this back to, oh man, what year was this? This is probably 2001, 2002. Talking Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather, because he was Pretty Boy back then, not money, versus Diego Chico Corrales, rest in peace. Much, much taller man. Chico was an absolute freak. The guy was a 6 foot tall, 130 pounder. Killer power from the outside and on the inside, which is very strange. Floyd used a brilliant tactic throughout the entire fight. I forgot who mentioned it during the telecast, but someone said it was like a syringe. He was using a body jab right to the pit of the stomach of the much taller, longer, leaner Diego Corrales. And really, you can see as that fight goes, was really sucking the life out of him. So this is a great move for a shorter man. He's in a shorter position anyway, so he's halfway to that jab to the body as is. What Shane doesn't want to do is keep his head where it's at and throw the jab down low. This creates a lot of distance between his weapon and his chin and his head, which gives me a wide open shot to come right over the top. I can come with actually a pretty short punch to land that, okay? What Shane wants to do is change levels, get down low, the shorter man. Now, the shoulder is part of the protection. This is gonna protect his chin, this is gonna protect that soft spot behind the ear. So even if I do come over the top, he's got a little bit of protection here. It can glance and slide off the top. And he's gonna look to stick that shot just below the heart. Okay, if you have an opponent who's square, you can literally hit the solar plexus right in the middle. Okay, but generally you're gonna have a guy who's gonna be more squared off. This was one of George Foreman's favorite punches, the jab to the heart. So it's gonna go literally right below the nipple, above that little rib crest right there. So Shane drops his level, throws that jab, bang, right to that spot right there, right below the heart. Great weapon for a shorter man fighting a taller man. Now another pitfall that you'll see when you have a shorter man fighting a taller man is that the shorter man will work really hard to get on the inside, and then once they get there, they don't do anything. They've spent so much mindfulness trying to get in there that once they get there, they're like, okay, what am I supposed to do while I'm here? Pretty common. Why is the guy throwing anything? He's still adjusting from getting from the outside in, and he's got to be able to change gears very quickly. So once Shane is able to move his head, use his front jab to get on the inside, and now he steps in, he crosses that critical distance line. He's now gotten past the point where my range is an asset for me. Now he's got to actually work. From this point, a lot of taller fighters will do a couple things. They're either going to try and create distance by making a fast move out, which Shane can mirror and come with me, right? Or the taller man will look to tie up, in which Shane now is going to have to expend a lot of energy to kind of work on the inside and not be complacent at that point. Also, taller man will oftentimes lean, drop his weight onto a fighter of shorter stature. So as that guy starts to get down, I can put my weight on him. I'm now hiding his weapons, kind of holstering both his fists, putting some weight on him, making him work harder than he probably wants to. So when this happens, these different scenarios, the shorter man should look to be active. As soon as you get inside, have a game plan, think about what you're doing. So what would be your favorite shot to strike once you get on the inside of a taller man?
If I'm on the outside here, I'm thinking right uppercut, and then go top right hand.
Right, which is a great combination because a lot of times once that shorter man gets inside, the taller man has a tendency to earmuff up, not seeing the uppercut. And also, you're going around the gloves, which is a classic Mike Tyson shot, up and over, okay? Between the gloves and around the gloves. Excellent, excellent move once you're inside. Boom, bang, okay? That's when the being shorter is actually an asset. Okay, what's another move that you would use maybe if you slipped on the inside?
Left up to the body.
Left up to the body.
Up to the head.
Up to the head.
You can chop in. Right hook.
Okay. So once you're on the inside, Shane's got his lead foot loaded up anyway, so it's a great time to rip that front hand to the body, to the head, and then look again to come around over the top. Again, this is where the shorter man has the advantage. He's got shorter limbs. He can generate more power on the inside. Okay? Now, what about if a taller man uses that position as an asset to kind of lean? So Shane comes in now, he gets past my jab perhaps. Now I'm in a bad position. What I might do is step in and drop some weight. Okay? This is a tough position to be in for 10, 12 rounds, which a championship fight is. Shane is now carrying not only his own weight, but some of mine. I can actually relax my legs here and just kind of put my weight down into him. So Shane, being a guy who's quick thinking, is going to make adjustments. He's going to cut an angle here. Even if he gets me to take half a step, I'm now half a step behind where he can be in order to counter with his left, his right, either way. So Shane gets past that critical distance line. I've overextended myself. I drop my weight a little, kind of get the smaller man to bear the brunt of my weight. Shane cuts a sharp angle, bang, bang, and counters with his own 3-2 in that position.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. So just to recap, when you're on the outside, make sure you keep that head movement and still work your jab. Don't abandon it just because you're the shorter fighter. Also, once you're on the inside, make sure you work the body, come over top of the guard with outside hooks, and if they put the pressure on you, create an angle. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out Chris's Instagram. Links are in the description below. Be sure to support and follow him. Until then, I'm Shane.
I'm Chris Algieri. Thanks for having me.
Fight tips for the underdogs.